you help your client through, I suppose, selecting what's the best operating model for their business, because I'm sure it's different across the different industries. So how do you help them to choose the best operating model?
Okay. So the operating model, similar almost to the last example, the operating model is like the blueprint for your house. So large-scale organizations, particularly in a finance function that exists on a global basis, can have anything up to 1,500 staff. And what an operating model does is it says, how are we structured at the moment? What's the organization? How many people are in it? How do they do the jobs that they do? Where are they? And effectively, what is that costing us? And we place a great emphasis within the development of the current operating model, because we want clients to take a good hard look at themselves, feeding back into the business case and agreeing what the exam question is. Because if we don't understand what's wrong with the current model, how are we going to design another one? Sure. And the basic relationship works quite simply. I think generally it takes about approximately 12 weeks to develop a business case, and I encourage clients to focus on examining the current operating model for 6 of those 12 weeks. Then we move on to what's referred to as the target operating model, or the future of finance, what it's going to look like in the future. Now, inevitably for clients, there's two major things that go on within a transformation program. One, they select a new ERP system. And secondly, they select a new operating model. And our clients, they're looking at shared services and the options that go within that. In that type of operating model, there are two major options. You can either develop a captive shared service center, or you can outsource your shared service center. And quite simply, outsourcing it is handing it to one of the many global third-party business process providers, who typically are based in India, so that you get lower cost delivery of the finance function. But the other option where we focus is on a captive shared service center. And basically, a client has decided that, yes, we want to do shared services. We see the advantages of it. But we want to develop it and keep it for ourselves. So it's within our staffing structure. The members in the shared service center are employees of our company. So the options then for a captive is, so if you're a UK company, you can develop a shared service center within the UK. And typically, two of the areas that acquire an awful lot of shared services at the moment is either Birmingham or the Greater Manchester area. There's great advantages in this, because the talent who are used to working in a shared services environment is in those areas, and companies gravitate towards them for that reason. They're also lower cost locations because they're outside of London. So a captive shared service center can be nationally, so it can be within the country in which you're operating. It can be near shore, in which it's somewhere in Europe for a UK company, or it could be offshored to India, but still a captive, even though it's in the same location as where the BPO providers are working from. A couple of the other terms that have come up recently is the virtual shared service center. Yeah. So the pandemic has lasted for the last 12 months, and everybody has gone to working from home and working remotely. Indeed, you and I are conducting this interview as it stands at the moment remotely. And so therefore, some clients are actually considering whether they develop a virtual shared service center. So they create the organization structure of a shared service center, but it doesn't need a specific location. The organization structure is there from a virtual perspective. Several clients have been exploring this over the course of the last 6 months. And the other thing to bear in mind is that many people have been on their shared services journey for some considerable time and created shared services that have been offshored several years ago. And quite a few of them are considering reshoring them and bringing them back, but not bringing them back to exactly where they started, but bringing them closer to the main market that they support. That gives you an idea for some of the target operating models that can exist in the shared services space.
Okay, fantastic, Michael. And then I suppose looking at it from an implementation point of view, so you work with your clients